Yeah. Konnichiwa, namaste, hello, and welcome to this webinar. Thank you for joining us for another exciting webinar about study and work in Japan, session 7. My name is Sakshi Roy, and I'm the program assistant here with the University of Tokyo, India office, and I'll be facilitating today's webinar. So we are very happy to have you all aboard here, and we are going to start out with a brief introduction about Study and Work in Japan project. So we are a part of Study and Work in Japan Global Network Project in Southwest Asia by MEX, and our aim is to promote studying in Japan in order to attract region's excellent students to higher education and research in Japan on behalf of all Japanese universities through collaborations and networking between overseas regional offices. So being a part of Global 30 project, we provide comprehensive information on Japanese universities at zero cost, which is of course a free of cost information provided to you. We organize education fairs and seminars throughout India. We manage these committees for coordinator for study in Japan as well. So today is the 7th day of this webinar series and is sponsored by MEX, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology in Japan. Through all these sessions, our mission is to introduce Japanese universities to you and to assist you to study and work in Japan. So without further ado, let me share with you our agenda for today. Okay, so today's webinar is scheduled for 2 hours, and first we are going to see presentation by Mr. Swapnil, which will be followed by the presentation by representatives of 3 different Japanese universities, which are Ritsumigan University, Kyoto University of Advanced Science, Tokyo University of Foreign Studies. So each university will have presentation time of 20 minutes, and after each presentation, we have time for Q&A session of 5 minutes. A little bit of housekeeping before we jump in the webinar itself. There is a Q&A pane or a Q&A feature within your Zoom panel. So please go ahead and submit your questions to Q&A panel and not in the chat box. I repeat, please not to use the chat box for submitting your queries. Please submit it to the Q&A box because it is easy for us to answer your questions in Q&A panel. So without further delay, let's start with presentation and on overview of Study and Work in Japan by Mr. Swapnil, who is an incredible speaker and a master student at the University of Tokyo in Japan. So Mr. Swapnil, I request you to please proceed with your presentation with all of us.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sakshi, for your introduction, kind introduction. So hello, everyone. I will give an overview of why Japan is a rising magnet for foreign talent for study and work in Japan. So first, I'll start with Japan as a country. So Japan has the 3rd largest economy in the world, which is propelled by automobile and consumer electronic industries. It has the highest employment rate among the developed G7 nations. Life in Japan is very peaceful and is full of opportunities. It is evident from the fact that Japanese cities like Tokyo and Osaka have featured in various city ratings like most livable cities, best student cities, etc. Only a country like Japan can make the world's most populated metropolitan region as one of the most livable city in the world. Transportation modes are very convenient and punctual. Japan provides excellent international cuisine options like Indian, Chinese, European, etc. Japan provides an excellent health insurance cover for students via its national health insurance system, which is one of the best in the world. Now moving on to Japanese universities and education system. So Japanese university system can be divided into 3 main categories: national, public, and private. There are various English programs being offered by these universities. To give an overview, there are 90 undergraduate courses in 40 universities. There are 160 master courses in 51 different universities and numerous doctoral courses. However, I would like to emphasize that it is really important to also understand the difference between the education system and admission procedure between Japan and your respective countries. Here I am sharing the major difference between India and Japan. So in Japan, admission process is controlled by the universities, while in India, most of the admissions are centralized and are done by means of examinations like JEE, NEET, GATE, etc. So students should be aware that you have to approach the universities, and the admission process will be clear from that side. Other thing is there are special English programs in Japan for international students, and we in study of and work in Japan provide the informations regarding some of them. There are much more and many more programs that are available in Japan. Other than that, facilities and infrastructure are world class in Japan. Sophisticated libraries, state-of-the-art research labs, interactive student lounge, amazing sports facilities, peaceful dormitories, to name a few. So moving onwards, admission process and fee structure. So basically, as I already mentioned, that admissions are controlled by the university. So in general, for bachelor courses, you might need an entrance examination, and in many universities, you need some standard English scores like TOEFL, TOEIC, etc. And there are some SOPs or essays you might have to write. For master's and PhD courses, it is very important to establish contact with your supervisor and follow the procedures of the university. Regarding the financial assistance, the number of scholarships and the financial assistance venues are a lot in Japan. There are various scholarships like Max, Gesso, and other private scholarships. You can also do part-time jobs. In Japan, part-time jobs are very common and are really rewarding financially. And comparing the tuition fee, Japan has one of the lowest tuition fee among the developed countries. So comparison with US is shown here. So for public universities, US has a fee of around 22 lakh per year, while Japan has a mere 4 lakh per annum of tuition fee. For private universities, it is 37 lakh for US and 12 lakh for Japan, and living expenses are still cheaper in Japan. So after you complete your education, it is also important for students to have a rewarding career. You want to utilize your education and have a blooming career in different countries. So in that regard, also Japan is one of the world leader. Average salary in Japan is 3.9 million yen per year for fresh graduates. That is around 28 lakh rupees. Japan has one of the lowest unemployment rate in the world. And you can work in the leading Japanese companies, and I'm sure you might have heard the names of most of these as they have global presence. You can also work in global companies which operate in Japan. I would like to put an extra emphasis on the visa availability in Japan. The transition from student visa to working visa is a big problem in many developed nations like US and UK. So many students have to return to their home countries after completing their education. While in Japan, this process is very smooth and easy, and you can have a very satisfying and financially rewarding career in Japan. Last, I would like to share my personal experience in Japan. I have been very fortunate to have got this chance of studying in Japan. So there are various student associations which provide support to the students. So we had farewell parties and other festivals in which we organize get-together. So this is the picture from the farewell party. As I mentioned, there are lots of part-time job opportunities. I had the experience of part-time job in Japan. I worked as an English teacher, and we have interactive session with different universities. There are lots of outdoor activities which are very easily accessible. And surprisingly, I got to play a lot of cricket in Japan. So that is also a very surprising and very good thing about Japan. I got to ride Shinkansen many times, and the city and the university campuses are very beautiful. So to summarize, I will say Japan is a land of surprises and opportunities. So I wish you all the young students all the best, and I'm eagerly looking forward to meet some of you very soon. And now I finish here and hand over to Ms. Sakshi to please take over the proceedings.
Thank you, Mr. Swapnil. Thank you very much for your presentation, your guidance, and for such a motivating presentation. I hope by listening to your experience, it will help students to consider studies in Japan. Thank you very much. So now let's move on to our next presentation. Can you share the slide, please?
So,
yes. So, yeah. Now let's move toward the next presentation on Ritsumigan University.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sakshi. Should I start?
Oh, no, I have to.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll give you a brief introduction about Ritsumigan University before moving forward. I must tell you that the Ritsumigan University is well known for its international relations and science and engineering department and is one of the top private universities in Japan. So I'm going to hand things over to Ms. Priyanka from Ritsumigan University. I'll tell you what's special about her is that she loves helping young adults like you to build your confidence to study in Japan. And she believes that the distance between you and your dreams to study in Japan is the only one communication away. So yeah, Ms. Priyanka, can we have your presentation, please?
Thank you very much, Ms. Sakshi. Very good evening. Very good evening, students, parents, teachers. Thank you very much for joining the session. I will be, just to tell you brief about me, I started working with Ritsumigan 11 years back. And as Ms. Sakshi mentioned, that I'm here to help and support you if you decide to go to Ritsumigan. And I will just share my screen. I will share the presentation with all of you. Thank you. So this is Ritsumigan University, Japan. So this is one of the campus photo that's located in Kyoto. So now the question is why study in, so we have already understood why study in Japan. So let's now understood coming to all the universities. So for me, why study in Ritsumigan? So this is some of the, pictures of the weather in Japan, spring, summer, fall, and winter. So where are we located? We are located in Kansai region. That's about 2 hours, 30 minutes from Tokyo. So we have 4 campuses located in 3 different locations. Shiga, that we have our engineering campus. And then Kyoto, we have got 2 campuses. And Osaka, Ibaraki, we have our 1 campus. So these are all interconnected and about 1 hour away from each other. So this is how Kyoto looks like, very historical, nostalgic, and student-friendly. So Shiga, we have our engineering campus. It's very rich in nature. So this is a picture of the campus, industrial and relaxed. Osaka as a city is very vibrant, welcoming, and a commercial hub. So Kyoto, when I talk about Kyoto city, it has 10% of the student population. So all the tourists, when they come to Japan, they do go to Tokyo and they also do come to Kyoto and of course many other areas in Japan. So it is very comfortable for any child to study in Kyoto with so many students already studying there and so many tourists visiting the city. So it's the world's safest student city. Kyoto, Osaka, Kobe ranked #1 for safety. So we were founded in 1900, Ritsumigan. So we are more than 121 years old. We have 16 undergraduate colleges, 21 graduate schools, part of top global university Japan. So we rank number 3 for the scientific research grant and aid among the private university in Japan, with a huge funding of 1.3 billion yen. We rank #1 in Western Japan for 139 foreign faculty. So we have 2,450 foreign students from 71 countries and regions, as for May 2020. In terms of the international partner institutions, so we have 461 from 68 countries and region, and students have an opportunity going for a study abroad in various partner institutions that we have. So these are pictures of our campus, Kinugasa campus. We have our first program, International Relations. It's surrounded by many World Heritage sites. This is a second campus, Biwakoku Satsu campus, Shiga. This is the engineering campus. We have information science and engineering program. So this is the last one, Osaka Ibaraki, where it's a very new campus. And we have policy science and the global liberal arts program. So talking about the COVID situation, when the COVID hit Japan, all the university have provided support in terms of the online education, in terms of supporting the students, especially with the family who lost their job with COVID, and helping them out with the free loan services. So these were the things that were provided by Ritsumigan. So when the students were back on campus last year, after the situation was better, so this is one of the picture. We have 430 clubs and circles. Part-time job, any child who comes to Japan is allowed to work for 28 hours per week on a student visa. Once they reach the airport, they'll be able to get the student visa. Sorry, they'll be able to get the part-time work permit. So student support, we have student support available. Accommodation, so most of the campuses, we have accommodation either available on or off campus with 5 to 15 minutes walk, or they can use a bicycle as well. There's a strong peer support with 399,020 students. So career planning support. So whether you want to work in Japan or whether you want to do your master's in Japan or anywhere in the world, so that support will be provided. So what are the key features? So I'll quickly go through it. Some of them I've already mentioned. So scholarship, we have 20% given minimum to every child who gets through Ritsumigan, and the 50 and 100% tuition reduction is also available. Accommodation is available. Online interview, so everything is online. You don't have to send anything by courier while you're applying to the university. English only, we don't need Japanese as part of the admission. So all the programs are taught in English, and you have a Japanese language as part of one of the program that you will be studying while you study in Ritsumigan. So talking about a program, so we have 2 collaborative degrees and 3 single degrees. So they are all 4-year full-time. Most of them, they have April and September intake, and some have April intake. I'll be sharing the details with you. So this is the first program, that is a College of Global Liberal Arts, where you get 2 degrees, dual degree, one from Australian National University and one from Ritsumigan University, Japan. So graduate with 2 degrees, and you study 3 years in Ritsumigan and 1 year in ENU, but you have an opportunity to study with Australian professor while you're in Japan also. And we have both the intakes, April and September. So these are some of the keywords already mentioned: social change with AI, evaluation of market economy, design, society, knowledge and innovation, contemporary Japan, politics and government, and many others. So talking about ENU, they are #1 in Australia and 29th in the world and 8th in the world of politics and international studies. So why GLA program? So it is a world-class education, 3+1, truly international and diverse environment, and a new liberal arts for the new era. So what are the career paths? So there are various career paths. So whether you want to work with government agency, consultancy firm, business and trade organization, development aid organization, media agencies, universities, research organization, and many others. So this is a picture of ANU campus. So the second program is our joint degree with American University. So this is BA in Global International Relation. You study 2 years in Ritsumigan and 2 years in America. It only has April intake and a very small 25 students. And some of the key words are already mentioned here: US-Japan relation, global and comparative governance, peace, global security, conflict resolution, and many others. So our third program, global study major, that will be that is a single degree fully taught in Japan. We are the only member in Japan who have got the full accreditation of APSIA, and the other universities that also have a full membership of APSIA are some of the Ivy Leagues: Harvard, Yale, Columbia, and American University. It's a 4-year program, April and September intake. And some of the key features are international law, peace and conflict studies, security studies, international human rights, the United Nations, global environment issues, gender issue, race and ethnicity, and global media. So what are the features, especially for this program? So there's a 50% international student, 50% Japanese students. So many professors who will be teaching you have worked for many years in United Nations, World Bank, and many other NGOs. So they'll be sharing their real work experience, practical work experience with you while they'll be teaching you. And also the Japanese language study would be part of the program. The 4th program, it's Community and Regional Policy Study major, called as BA in Policy Science. It's a 4-year again, and a 40 student intake, September only. And some of the key features are urban planning for sustainable cities, community safety, development economics, environmental policy, global public policy, social welfare policies, and revitalization of rural areas. Especially for this program, so there is a lot of field work. So this is a picture of an Indian student who went to Thailand to do her field work, and many other children, they went to many other different countries. And this program also has a mixed scholarship available. So the last program we have is Information System Science and Engineering course. So it's an engineering course. It's called as Bachelor of Engineering, and it's only April intake, and some of the keywords are IoT, business intelligence, data science, artificial intelligence, robot technology, human interface, effective engineering, digital human, virtual reality, and advanced computer graphics. So what are the career paths when you go for this engineering program? You can go for any big data, become any big data analyst, global ICT support specialist, e-government system engineer, smart city engineer, and digital humanities curator. So these are some of them that we can share, and many others. So key features already shared. And so what is the document screening? So it's very screening process. So you just have to submit your documents. So for most of the program, there would be interview, and for some of them, there won't be any interview, and followed by final results. So what is the document requirement? It's very simple: a passport copy, English test score, or mostly waived for most of the programs. Otherwise, you need an IELTS or a TOEFL if it is not waived for a particular program. Recommendation letter from the school, academic transcript, your 10th, your 11th, and the 12th predicted scores, and essays that are already mentioned in the application handbook, and certificate of high school graduation. The format is also there in the handbook. So what are the dates? So if you're applying for September for our dual degree program with Australian National University, the application starts in October, but we also have in December the second application period, and February we have a third and the last application period to go in September. So if you want to go for a joint degree program with US University, American University, the application starts in August. And if you want to go for a single degree, College of International Relations, the application is starting in December, and the second application period in Feb. And same for College of Policy Science, the application will start in December, and the second application period in February. And the last program is an engineering program. It's in April. So for somebody who's keen on going next year and who already cleared the class 12th or will be getting the result by July 31st by CBSE or any other board, they get the result by this year, I mean to say, they can still apply because the application is still open for August, and October. So we have 2 more applications left if they want to go for April 2022, if you have cleared your class 12th. So if I talk about the total cost, so approximately for all the programs, the cost is about 9 to 10 lakhs. And for a single degrees and for a double degree, it would be approximately 15 lakhs. And the living cost is 8 to 9 lakhs. Apart from that, this does not include scholarship, but 20% is given minimum, and many other 50 and 100% is also there. So we also have Masters and PhD program. If you're keen, international relation, policy science, economics, science and engineering, information science and engineering, and life science program. So we have Masters and PhD in all these areas. So if you want to attend any of our future session that we'll be doing online, so you can, register, and you can use my email ID, and my number is mentioned here, and you can sign up for the newsletter. The link is here, and I have also shared, and I'll be also be sharing in the link, so you can take the details from there. Thank you very much. After this, I'll be sharing a very short video with all of you to understand one day in Ritsumigan.
Places that you'd never find. I know something about a state of mind. I've got the dreamer in me. Roses bloom and the sun will shine. Leave your troubles in the world behind. Stars shine brighter when you free your mind. I've got the dreamer in me. And when we reach the destination, you will see the world is waiting for the ones who hold the key. Just look inside and unlock the possibility. The dreamer lives in you and me. So take a breath and make the moment last. You'll never know if you never ask. All you need will be within your grasp. I've got the dreamer in me. And when we reach the destination, you will see the world is waiting for the ones who hold the key. Just look inside and unlock the possibility. The dreamer lives in me. You and me.
Thank you very much. So I'm available for any questions that you have. Over to you, Sakshi-san. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your presentation, Ms. Priyanka. It was nothing short of incredibly informative and interesting. So now we can start the Q&A session for 5 minutes, and there are quite a lot of questions in the Q&A box. Can I pick one for you to answer?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Is that JLPT test required for admission?
So yes, it won't be required because all the programs are taught in English. So the GLPT won't be required. Thank you.
Okay, is IELTS necessary for admission?
So for most of the programs, the IELTS would be waived off. For some of the programs, especially a joint degree and a program in a dual degree program with Australian National University is the only program we need IELTS or TOEFL or Duolingo. And for rest of the program, you can get a waiver. If you have studied in English for 6 years. Yeah, yes.
Okay. So one of the students asked especially for Ritsumigan University, can you elaborate a little on the qualification and test required to apply for master's program in international relations at Ritsumigan University?
So master's program, what I'll suggest is if you can email it to me, so I will connect you with your research proposal would be required, and as such, no other requirement. I will connect you to the professor and then you can take it forward. If there is any particular specific requirement, only the professor will be able to let you know. So if you can email it to me, I've already mentioned the email ID.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does this college have an animation course for master's degree?
I'm so sorry, but we do have various engineering programs. So if you're keen on any of the engineering program, so yes, that would be one of the choice that is available and not animation.
Okay, and one of the students asked, is there any master's program in information technology?
Information technology, yes. So there would be something similar to it. So I will share the link for the master's program as well in the chat column after this, and you can go through all our master's program as well.
Okay. One last question. Is the Ritsumigan University have a master's course in sociology?
Sociology can be part of what I can understand. Either it can come in one of, we have two programs, international relation and policy science. So policy science is very near to sociology program. And also in international relation, also we have some components, some course modules relating to that. So you can go through both the programs. And if you are interested, you can contact us. Thank you.
Okay. There are some more questions. So yeah, I request you to please later on while being in the webinar, you can just answer them.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Priyanka, for your time and for guiding the students and for all our attendees. In case if you have any further doubts, you can directly contact the Ritsumigan University. Contact details have already been shared by Ms. Priyanka during the presentation. So now let's move forward to the presentation. Next presentation, Mr. Yeah. So the next presentation is by Kyoto University of Advanced Science. You know what's special about KUS? They have globally experienced professors who come from different parts of the world, bringing along with them the very best in their field. Their specialities are robotics, mechanical, electrical, material, and computer engineering. So under their guidance and mentoring, you will engage in research and learning with an experience that will last a lifetime. So today, Director Mr. Takeda from International Office will be sharing 20 minutes presentation about Kyoto University of Advanced Science. So Mr. Takeda, I request you to please share your slides with us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Takeda. Thank you very much, Ms. Sakshi, in introducing our universities to everyone. Once again, my name is Takeda. I work at the Kyoto University of Advanced Science as an international office director. Today, I am very pleased to introduce our exciting and innovative all-new engineering program. For those interested in doing engineering program in Japan and wants to become skilled engineers in Japan and to start working for the Japanese in the Japanese industry. So very quickly, Kyoto University of Advanced Science is also located in at the heart of Japan and Kyoto cities. Like you see here, you can see all these beautiful shrines and temples, even pagodas and castles, literally on a daily basis. And a bit about our university itself first. Kyoto University of Advanced Science, KUAS for short, it started in 1969. It's Japanese government accredited private university, and it has 3,600 students. And we offer programs at 5 faculties, including brand new faculty of engineering that I'm going to talking about. And there are 80 international students from 20 countries around the world at our engineering school alone, including Indian students and also our Sri Lankan students and the Bangladeshi students and the Nepalese students as well. And what really sets us apart from other engineering school is the Mr. Nagamori Shigen, our chairman of our universities. Our university, he took the position as soon as he took the position of our chairman, and he quickly invested 120 million US dollars in order to found new KUS faculty of engineering and in order to create a new generation of street smart engineer. I will talk about him and other things as well in details a bit about later. So before getting into the details, why don't I play a short video clip so that you can feel more familiar and feel more comfortable about who we are, what we do, and what we are trying to achieve at our engineering program, engineering school.
What's in Kyoto? What's KUAS? Kyoto, the old capital of Japan, is home to many of Japan's most important World Heritage sites. While Kyoto is well known as a popular tourist attraction, the largest and most important economy in Kyoto is its manufacturing and technology sector. Situated at this crossroads of history, technology, culture, and nature is Kyoto University of Advanced Science, a new type of university that seeks to international, state-of-the-art education. Here is a look at some of the facilities the building features. The workshops are available for free to students 24 hours a day and provide the tools and materials to craft nearly anything imaginable. Elsewhere in the building, challenging research is being carried out every day. There is also a large library, ideal for self-study as well as group discussions. The Faculty of Engineering has great facilities, but that's not all the school has to be proud of. The professors teaching at KUAS hail from all over the world. All lectures are held in English. In addition, all international engineering students are provided with intensive Japanese language courses. The Capstone Project, the first of its kind in Japan, is designed to pit teams of students against realistic challenges presented by over 50 real companies. These unique features will allow KUAS graduates to work immediately, anywhere in the world. KUAS represents a new model of university unlike Japan has ever seen. Join us at KUAS and be a street-smart global engineer.
let me move on to talk about why study engineering in Japan. So, or simply put, there are always a great demand for highly skilled engineers in Japan, precisely because Japan is a technologically advanced country, as you can see here. As of 2020, there are 370,000 two engineers in Japan, and by 2030, it's been projected there will be 790,000 two engineers in Japan. So like I said, simply put, there is always great serious shortages of skilled engineers in Japan, meaning that, in other words, world-class or first-class companies headquartered in Japan always look out for well-educated engineers like you. So now that's the reason I should say that now is the best time for you to come to Japan to do an engineering program to start working for Japanese companies with the skills that you learned at KUS. Japan is the best place for where you can could earn the most among the developed, even among the developed countries are salary-wise. As you can see in Japan, you could be making $43,000 per year as an on average as a skilled engineers. And in fact, every single year, approximately 2,000 Indians settle in Japan. As you can imagine, the majority of them are skilled Indian engineers who decided to come to Japan to start working for the Japanese companies. So Kyoto, like I said, Kyoto is a beautiful city. So now if you happen to be a good fan of reading comics books, and also Kyoto may be the best place for you to visit, and as there is a museum that specifically features these beautiful comic books. And it's more important for you to understand Kyoto is the hub of world-class technology firms. The best example is Nintendo that produces Animal Crossing and Mario's, Pokemon. Nintendo is headquartered in Kyoto. It operates from there to be successful on a global arena. It's not only the Nintendo, but also other companies headquartered in Kyoto operates from there successfully on a global arena, as you can see here. This is a very important piece of information for those who are interested in coming to Japan to do an engineering program, as these companies are quickly translated into your future job opportunities upon the completion of our program. So KUS, KUS is now proud to announce that there will be 13 Indian students being accepted for our 2021 undergraduate program intake, and 25 Bangladeshi students are also accepted, and 23 Nepalese students are accepted. And I briefly touched upon at the beginning of my presentations, our university is very, very unique, in the sense that our chairman is the very strong, powerful current CEO of a gigantic company called Nidec. A bit about Nidec. Nidec is the largest motor company in the world. It has 300 offices in 50 countries. The entire workforce exceeds 140,000 employees, which actually happens to be exceeding even Apple and even Google in the number of entire workforce. So Mr. Nagamori Shigenobu is the current CEO of this gigantic company, and he now invested $120 million in KUS in order to create a new generation of street smart global engineers, like you saw on the videos. So a part of the reason that he started and launched this our engineering program because he wants to hire many well-educated engineers from his company. And you may be surprised if I say this is this is a photo of a beautiful engineering building, and looks like a beach. Looks like a gorgeous hotel, but actually this is our engineering building. Program itself. Let me discuss our program itself now. And there are 4 distinctive features of the Faculty of Engineering. Number 1, our program is entirely conducted in English language, not in the Japanese language. So you don't have to worry about your Japanese language proficiency, at least when you apply for KUS. Number 2, still we would like to offer you intensive Japanese classes at no additional cost in a way that is going to help you or develop your language skills that you can use to when finding job opportunities available with the Japanese companies, which still predominantly Japanese speaking environment. Number 3, our program is very practical. So we're gonna put you into a team-based activity all the time. Also, we're gonna put you in an opportunity to be able to work closely with the current engineers who works in the industry right now. Number 4, there is a department that specifically helps international students find job opportunities available with the Japanese industry, with industry in Japan. So our program is a multidisciplinary, very modern design based on our modern design, which is called Multi-Disciplinary Engineering Program, which places computing and data processing at the center of our programs. Also, at the same time, you need to cover mechanical engineering aspects, and to the right, you can also need to have a comprehensive understanding of electrical engineering aspects as well. So you are on our programs, you have a comprehensive understanding of all of these on just one program, namely Kyoto University Mechanical Electrical System Engineering program. More specifically, you can cover all these engineering expertise on our program at the same time. So you don't have to go to other schools to choose one of them. You can cover all of these at KUS engineering program. This is a weekly schedule or sample or a sample our weekly schedule for semester 1. As you can see, you're doing a lot of physics and algebra to lay out the foundation for more advanced expertise in the field of engineering. At the same time, you also have opportunities to learn Japanese languages through different programs. And also, this is the samples for our weekly schedule for semester 2. Continuously, you'll be building upon. You need to build your skills in programming skill with Python and Python exercises, and also in the fields of physics and math, and also you'll be covering more advanced Japanese coursework as well. And that culmination of our program is a project called Capstone Project, and where you'll be expected to work very closely with the engineers who are currently works in the Japanese companies as skilled engineers. And so by visiting them and to learning from the issues that those engineers are now facing in the industry, you are supposed to come up with your own solutions for their issues and also for their feedback. So by going back and forth between the campus and their offices in the Japanese companies, you are automatically also naturally, reasonably develop practical skills and knowledge and even expertise that you can use immediately or immediately from the even day one when you join the Japanese companies as a skilled engineers upon the completion of our program. And tuition fees around 14,000 per year, very comparatively very affordable. And the cost of living in Kyoto, it varies of $1,000 per month and to $1,200. It's interesting to see our huge differences among the different countries in terms of tuition costs, as you can see on the right. And if you choose to go to UK, you'll be spending $43,000 per year, whereas at KUS, you'll be spending only $14,000, which is a huge difference depending on your study destination. And the KUS, let me stress that again, coming to KUS is a very viable and also a very affordable option for you to choose. Application timelines and for undergraduate program, undergraduate applicants, and our application entry, early application entry starts on October 1st, 2021 and closes on October 31st, 2021. Results will be announced on December 27th. And regular application entry will start December 1st, 2021. And final application entry will open on February 15th, 2022. I'm talking about all these different entry windows toward our September 2022 program intake. Application documents are very simple, starting with an ID photo, an application essay, 3 transcripts in English, and a 4 certificate of expected graduation, and number 5 CBSE or SAT, A-level or international baccalaureate scores required. And you can use your CBSE predicted scores in order to apply for KUS program, although you have not taken CBSE itself yet. And also, if your first language is not English, you need to provide us your evidence of English proficiency. And you also need to provide us one letter of recommendation of who is usually your physics, either your physics teacher or math teacher or school guidance counselors who knows you very well. And number 8, passport copy if available for identification purposes. Entry requirements for undergraduate. Physics and math is a requirement equivalent to high school levels, and then also algebra, geometry, pre-calculus, statistics, force motion, waves with electricity, magnetism, atoms. And admission criteria, our professors would like to see your overall strong GPA and good track records in physics and math and notable CBSE scores. And also professors would like to see your strong determination to pursue studies at KUS, and a great interview performance is also decisive factors. And one of the most important things that you need to remember is your strong character matching with our program goals. And this is the scholarship programs available at KUS specifically for international students, or if you are considered to be a very highly qualified or applicant for our program. But remember, this is a very highly competitive scholarships. You can expect a rigorous competition from highly qualified applicants from around the world. And just a bit about the postgraduate students. Yes, we run programs for both postgraduate student master's levels and also PhD levels. pre-application screening will start on this October 18th, 2021. If you are interested, I'd highly recommend you to go online to check out our website to see more details for our application procedures. Core areas of our PhD programs and also master's program: mechanical, electrical, electronic, electrical, chemical, and computer sciences. And these are list of our professors. And this is the professors who have strong backgrounds of computer science and computing programs. And Dr. Zhu Liang is also have a very strong background in computer science and computing if you are interested. Scholarship programs also available. And this is a KUS Indian representative. If you are interested, if you feel more comfortable to speak up with the Indian representative, here's her contact details. If you are going to take a screenshot, and I pause here for a while. And she is Indian. She used to, she Indian citizen, migrated to Japan. So she knows about Indian cultures and at the same time about the Japanese cultures, and she is going to be a great mentor for your questions and for your questions about regarding your intention and going to Japan to do an engineering program. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I'd let the floor open to your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Takeda. Thank you for your enlightening presentation and guiding the students to consider higher studies in Japan. We can now look into the Q&A box for helping students with their doubts.
Okay.
Would you like to answer a couple of questions from the Q&A?
Maybe Mrs. Akshi, if you don't mind, would you pick some of the important questions for me?
Okay, I'll pick up for you. Is KUS offers master's degree in automotive and mechanical?
You said the automobile?
Automotive.
Automotive. Not exactly our expertise, not expertise areas, but you can. I just recommend him to go online to find matching professors that who might have similar backgrounds with your expertise interest, academic interest.
Is there any master's course in civil engineering?
Civil engineering, not our specialty, sorry. Hello. Oh. Somehow you freeze. Do I freeze? You freeze?
Do you have aerospace program at bachelor's program?
Aerospace at the bachelor levels. No. Like you said, our program is centered around robotics and mechatronics, mechanical, electrical, and system means computing. You simply pause. And so if these sound right for you, I'd recommend you to do a bit research on our programs and more details online.
Okay. For robotics, which tests are required?
Which test?
Yeah. What is the eligibility requirement for robotics program?
So requirements, like I was discussing, the requirements, minimum requirements, and you need you will expect it to have covered areas of physics and math and at this high school at the equivalent to high school level.
Okay. there are some more questions. It would be better if you can just go ahead and answer in the Q&A box.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. For programs like product design and user experience, is there any, okay, for last question I had for a student currently studying in class 12, CBS session is granted. Is it possible to get an admission with Ritsumigan? Okay, this is Ritsumigan. No, maybe, or is it possible to get admission with Ritsumigan? Probably meant to for KUS as well. Yes, if you are, yes, even if you are having, yes, you can start your application processes even if you have not sat for a CBSE session yet, because you can, I'm sure you can use your predicted scores, you're at CBSE in order to apply for KUS.
Okay, Mr. Takeda, you can just later on while being in the presentation, you can answer by typing in the Q&A box.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
So let's move on to our last presentation of the day by Tokyo University of Foreign Studies. Let me give you a brief introduction about the university. TUFS is a national specialist research university located in Fuchu, Tokyo. So it is the best university for those students who are interested in programs like foreign language, international studies, and cultural studies. This university offered the opportunity to major in 26 languages, including Chinese, Indonesian, Hindi, French, Czech, and many more. So now I would like to invite Professor Haruna. He's a professor in School of Japan Studies, and Ms. Ishida from Global Admission Office at Tokyo University of Foreign Studies to share us an insight into the university. So Professor Haruna, kindly please proceed with your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. Well, we will start with Ms. Ishida.
Okay. Thank you very much for the very nice introduction. Let me start from my side for our presentation. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tokyo University of Foreign Studies. My name is Ria Ishida from the Global Admissions Office. Okay. I understand that the other two universities were located in Kyoto, the very beautiful traditional city in Japan. We are in Tokyo, a little bit further to the eastern side of Japan. And as it was introduced now, we are located in the residential area of Tokyo, within about 30 minutes of a train ride from the downtown Tokyo. And you can actually see these 4 beautiful seasons within a relatively small campus. Let me briefly go over our university. As our title shows, we specialize in foreign studies, language studies, culture studies, and international studies. And the number of languages taught in this university reaches 75. And among the 75, 28 are so-called major languages, which the students can choose as their field of study. As you can see here, among the 28 are the Urdu, Hindi, and Bengali, which means that when you come here, you will be able to meet and communicate with the Japanese students who are studying your language, your culture, and your history. And we believe that these communications are one of the best benefits that you can get from living in our campus. We also have a long history. We will be celebrating our 150th anniversary in 2023. We hope some of you here today will be able to join us for the celebration. As for this year, the number of international students are relatively small due to the pandemic. We usually have between 700 to 750 students from over 80 countries. We also have a partnership with 229 institutions worldwide. Among them, 5 are in India and 2 from Bangladesh. As we mentioned, we specialize in foreign studies in humanities and social sciences. Although many of our programs are held in Japanese, we have 3 degree programs that are offered in English or English and Japanese. For the undergraduate program, we have the School of Japan Studies. For the master's program, we have the Peace and Conflict Studies. For the doctoral program, we have the Joint Doctoral Program for Sustainability Research. For the School of Japan Studies and Peace and Conflict Studies course, we are proud to inform you that this comes with the Japanese government scholarship opportunity. All 3 programs that I just mentioned offers pre-arrival selection, meaning that you don't need to travel to Japan to apply for the program. We will be having the document screening and also an interview through an internet video call. Some of them requires a certain English score. So if you are interested in any of these programs, please download the application information from the link below and check the details. We understand that fees and financial support are a very big issue when you're considering the studying in Japan. As mentioned, we are a national university, meaning that our academic fees are relatively low compared with the private universities. The admission fee is 282,000 yen, which is around 2,600 US dollars. For the tuition per year, it is 535,800 yen, which is around 4,900 US dollars. Let me also note that the privately funded international students may also apply for the tuition exemption and also scholarships provided by private foundations. Let me note that for the private foundations, most of them require some Japanese proficiency, meaning you need to prepare your applications in Japanese and have the interview in Japanese. So although you may be applying for the English degree programs, we recommend you to start studying the Japanese language early, once you have decided to come to Japan. Let me briefly go over 2 of the graduate school programs. The Master's Program on Peace and Conflict Studies course, a 2-year master's program with a degree granted upon completion is Master of Arts in International Studies. We are a relatively small group, accepting only 10 to 12 students per year, but the students come from diverse backgrounds. We believe that the intimate and the intensive education dynamics that you will have with the students and the faculty are one of the benefits that you can get outside the academic performances. I mentioned that this program comes with the Japanese government scholarship opportunity. This is directly, you can apply for this scholarship when you apply for the Peace and Conflict Studies course. I understand that in India, the Japanese embassy restricts some, they specify the field of research that you can apply for the MEC scholarships embassy recommendation. If you wish to study about peace and conflict studies not related to Japan, I recommend you to apply for this program through this scholarship. Let me note that you need to satisfy some additional eligibilities. One of them is that you need to be the nationals of conflict-affected countries. We don't have any fixed definition of conflict-affected countries. If you can explain yourself that your country has been affected by conflict, whether the conflict within your country or with the neighboring countries, or regarding the conflicts happening elsewhere in the world. You also need to be a holder of an excellent academic record. So if you're interested in studying peace and conflict studies under the Japanese government scholarship, again, I recommend you to download the application information through the link below or with the QR code to check the details. Also, for this Peace and Conflict Studies course, the top 5 students entering this course will be granted with the admission fee and tuition exemption. So prepare your application well for these financial supports. For the doctoral program, we have the Joint Doctoral Program for Sustainability Research, a 3-year doctoral program conducted with 2 other universities, Tokyo University of Agriculture and Technology and University of Electrocommunications. As you can see, on this program, you will be able to conduct your research from a multidisciplinary approach. If you're interested, please check out their website through the link below here. Now, I understand that many of you here today are interested in studying about Japan and Japanese. Let me briefly summarize your options. If you have a high Japanese proficiency, we have the bachelor's program, master's program, and PhD program for your choice, but they all require high Japanese proficiency. If you don't yet have the Japanese proficiency, the School of Japan Studies, the undergraduate program, is the option for you. So let me now hand over the microphone to Professor Haruna of School of Japan Studies to talk about what the School of Japan Study is. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Ishida-san. So please give me about 10 minutes to explain about the School of Japan Studies. I'll just show you my slides. Okay, I believe you can see my slides right in front of you. Well, as you can see from the title, the name of this school is focusing on Japan Studies, which is a branch of humanities and social sciences. We don't have any engineering, we don't have science. This is specialized in humanities and social sciences regarding Japan. The reason why we set up this course, this school, is to train students who can become academic professionals of Japan, or who would like to work in a globalized society, which includes Japan in the future, an environment with diversity, with people with diverse cultural backgrounds. And to train such kind of people, we have some notable features in the School of Japan Studies. I'll just point out 4 notable features of this school. First, we have a very diverse environment inside this small School of Japan Studies. Every year, we take in 45 students from Japanese high schools and 30 students from abroad. And if you look at the origin of these 30 international students, the students not just come from East Asia, they also come from Southeast Asia, they also come from Europe, they come from the Americas as well. As for now, we don't have any students from India, but we are very much willing to have students from India. Well, to keep this very diverse environment, we don't require the students to have proficiency in the Japanese language and to have knowledge about Japan, the Japanese society, and Japanese culture. We provide a very comprehensive educational program. We have all the students take courses in a wide variety. We have courses ranging from politics and economy to culture, linguistics, and we also have courses of teaching Japanese to non-Japanese speakers. All students will take all of these courses. For the first 3 years, the students will go through all of these courses. And the meaning is, the intention is to have them found a strong, thick basis of knowledge about Japan, and plus to give them the opportunity to find their own interest, to find their field, to find their topic they would like to specialize in their 4th year. Because in the 4th year, every student will focus on his or her own field and his or her own topic and complete a graduation thesis. This is how the 4 years will go on in this university, in this School of Japan Studies. The third notable feature is, if you start as a Japanese beginner, we offer very intensive Japanese lessons. So, well, if you start as a Japanese beginner, I have to say that The morning hours of your first year will be allocated to intensive Japanese language courses. This is very hard, but if you go through this, if you study hard, then by the time you reach the third year, you will have a high proficiency of Japanese so that you can not just understand conversations with your friends in Japanese, but also understand lectures taught in Japanese. And plus, you will be ready to find a job and work inside Japan. So I recommend you to study very hard the Japanese language, even though it's hard. And I will also say that you should be very much motivated to go through this hard process if you would like to come to the School of Japan Studies. Another feature is that, well, as I just said in the beginning, this is a very diverse environment. We have students from Japan and students from abroad and students from many regions all over the world. To make them study together in the same classroom, we offer some courses which are called collaboration projects. This is not the normal kind of studying. We make the students run their own collaboration projects, like creating a video together. This is a good opportunity to get to know each other and plus to work in a diverse environment. So I said in the beginning, we want to train people who would be able to work collaboratively with the others in a globalized, diverse environment. And we believe that Japan in the future will become like that. Okay, if you go through the 4 years in the School of Japan Studies, at the time of graduation, you will receive the Bachelor of Arts degree in Languages and our area studies. Well, I just gave you a little introduction about how the first year of the Japanese beginners. But as I just mentioned, the first year, if you're a Japanese beginner, you will have a lot of time for Japanese language education. And well, plus you have this collaboration projects, and plus you have the introductory courses ranging from widely from history to linguistics. And I should add also that all of these introductory courses, they are all mandatory. All students will have to take this, but this is all provided in English. The multicultural collaboration lessons are also taught in English. So therefore, you don't need to have Japanese proficiency at the timing of entering the school. Well, I won't go deeper into the second, third, fourth years, but what I can say is that from the second year on, you will have more specialized courses. In the first year, you just receive the introductory courses. From the second year, you'll start to select the courses according to your interest. So if you're more interested in social studies, you can select from studies in politics, studies in economics, or studies in Japanese modern history, like that. And in the fourth year, you write a graduation thesis. Well, let me move on to application information. Well, if you would like to enter the School of Japan Studies from the first year, there is an entrance which the selection is all held in English. Well, if you enter in Japan, school starts in April. So the admission date will be next year, April 1st. If you are interested in this entrance, then please check the QR code. Well, this will lead you to our university homepage. So you can also follow the link, which is in the bottom of this page. Well, the important parts are this selection process is all in English. It's a pre-arrival selection, which means the interview is online. This is a two-stage selection. The first selection is paper screening. If you pass that, you go on to the second screening, which is an interview in English, which will take place in mid to late October each year. If you are admitted, the announcement will be in late November. Okay, and well, if you would like to receive scholarship when entering the School of Japan Studies, there's not the process of receiving the scholarship is not separate from the admission process to the School of Japan Studies. You just go through the same process, but if you have outstanding admission results, then you will be able to receive the Ministry of Education scholarship. This is a governmental scholarship provided by the Japanese government. Well, but actually there are two types in this scholarship. And as for now, I can't say which type is available to you if you enter the School of Japan Studies from next April. Well, as for now, we have type 1, which means that every year we have 8 students receiving this scholarship, and the students receiving this scholarship will be able to receive stipends each month for 4 years until the time of graduation. They don't have to pay the tuition of the university for 4 years as well. The great difference in type 2 is that there are only 4 students that can receive this, and you can't receive this for the entire 4 years in the School of Japan Studies. This is only available for 2 years. So, of course, type 1 is desirable. We now have 8 seats, a quota of 8 students each year entering, but we don't know the number of quotas we have from next year. So therefore, if you are interested in the School of Japan Studies, and if you want to know the latest information about the scholarship, you should keep on contacting us at the Global Admissions Office. I'm running out of time, so I can't go so deeply into the details of this scholarship program. So if you are interested in this, please contact the Global Admissions Office, gao@tufs.ac.jp. Another big announcement is that we will have a detailed online information session next month on the 20th of July. In this one day, we have 2 sessions. If you are interested in the School of Japan Studies, please join us in this information session. You can register yourself through this QR code, or just follow the link at the bottom of this page. This is my final announcement. Well, if you are already a university student and you have completed at least 2 years of university education, or if you actually graduated from university, then you can enter the School of Japan Studies from the 3rd year. This is called 3rd year admission. So each year we take in about 5 students in October. Unfortunately, the students who will enter the School of Japan Studies in October this year has been already decided. So if you're interested in this entrance, your next chance will be next year. But if you're interested in this, please contact us at gao@tufs.ac.jp. So this is all from me. Well, you can get information through the QR code right in front of you as well. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Sensei, and thank you, Ms. Ishida, for such informative and interesting presentation. Now we'll just begin with Q&A session. I'll quickly pick up a question for you. Is there any age barrier for Japanese studies?
No, there is no age barrier. We have students actually around 30 years old right now.
Okay.
Just maybe at just one point, if you're looking for scholarships, you have to know that there are some age limit for the scholarship programs.
That is right. There are age limits for scholarships, but to enter the School of Japan Studies, there's no limit. That's for sure.
Is there any GPA requirement?
There's no GPA requirement. You have to submit your grade scores. Plus, if you have received education not in English, then you have to also submit your English scores in TOEFL or something like that. But there's no requirement for the GPA. There is requirement for the English scores. It has to be over CEFR B2. So if it's TOEFL, then if it's TOEFL IBT, it should be over 72 points. Or if it's IELTS, it should be over 5.5 points. But as for the GPA of high school education, there's no requirements. We'll just look at it and we will just judge.
But again, I'm sorry, for scholarships,
yes,
there is.
Yes, to receive scholarship, there is a requirement in the GPA.
Okay. Can Japanese language beginner take Japanese language program?
Is the Japanese language program is?
Can Japanese language beginner take Japanese classes?
Yeah, of course. Yes. Oh, a Japanese beginner can come into the School of Japan Studies with no Japanese proficiency, we will provide you intensive courses of Japanese lessons. Every day from Monday through Friday, the morning hours will be for Japanese language education. So if you study hard for 2 years, you'll get to reach a pretty high level of Japanese proficiency. You'll be sure.
Okay. Do you provide online classes, online courses?
Well, the university is now, well, under the pandemic, right now, about half of the courses are taught online, but half are taught face-to-face. So you have to be here in Japan. That's what I can tell you.
Okay. Professor Harna, we have received one query from one of the students. He was asking for, is there any master's program you offer in Buddhist studies?
With Japanese studies? English studies?
Buddhist studies.
Buddhist studies.
Yeah.
Sorry, we don't have.
Okay. Okay, so I think we can now end the Q&A session for TUFS.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much for the questions and everything.
Adding the point here, someone has also asked us, what will be the scope after learning Japanese language? So I would like to answer this question. So if you want to stay in Japan, or if you want to, if you decided to leave Japan after you have finished your language courses, your experience and your skill will be highly considered by potential employer. So be it in your country or anywhere else in the world, Japanese language will surely open many doors to you. And not only the language, I'll tell you, Japan is the land of innovation and creativity. So beyond the language, there is so much to learn in Japan. The Japanese government is also pushing an internationalization agenda in higher education, and is more than ever willing to open up increased immigration. So now is the right time to come to Japan. You dream it, now you do it. So this leads to the end of the webinar. Swapnil-san, can you please share the screen? At last, I would like to thank all of the presenters for sharing their insight with us. For all our attendees, thank you for making time to sit through all of the presentation. It was so engaging, so educative and fulfilling because of your presence. Just to inform you that in our upcoming webinar, there will be another 3 best national and private universities going to participate in our next session. So stay tuned and register yourself to participate in the webinar on Friday, 25th June. You can either register from our website. This is the web link and the email address of our website. And you can also register from our Facebook page. You can like and follow our Facebook page to get more updates regarding webinars. If you still have questions, feel free to shoot us an email. Have an amazing day. Work hard to catch your dreams. See you all in next session. So sayonara minasan. Thank you so much.
Arigatou gozaimashita. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.